What's up, everybody? Welcome to Drunk with Facts. It is Thursday, September 12th, right? Yes, it is. I can remember. Want to welcome our very special guest all the way from, what'd you say, Fiji?
Mr. Fiji. We're in Fiji. Yeah.
I thought you were literally talking about Mr. Facts because I was moving him, and I was like, oh, look, our special guest.
See, I should have him in the picture here.
You should.
Sitting on the beach with a margarita or something.
That's good. How do we self-impose him on a background?
That's easy.
Oh,
just send me
my Zoom calls for work.
Just send me a PNG of him, and
like not super obvious, but like just over here and be like, hi.
Yeah, you do a PNG with any background, really.
Yeah.
Don't tell me things like that.
Throw them in there.
I would have 4 ones of the same one, like same background, but like him slightly moved in a different spot, so I can just like click between them.
That's like that, like you do with a book with the pages.
Yep. Like you're flipping it through, and he's like, pick, 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 pick.
It's like claymation with a doll, right?
This is not the technology I need to know about.
That'd be kind of fun. So, what's up, Joey? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to Arizona.
So
in 2 weeks. Woo woo.
3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Is it 2 or 3?
I'm gonna say 2.
All right, we'll go with 2.
Plus, yeah, we're almost halfway through this month, so
ish.
We leave on the 30th of this month, so.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks.
That's it. It's 2 weeks. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Friggin' awesome.
Actually, we can be there on the 1st, because if we take 2 days, the 30th being the first one, I'm going to be there the afternoon of the 1st.
Nice.
Yay!
Yeah. Hi, Christine.
Guess what?
Kathleen.
Christine is going to be here for Keith's birthday.
She told me that.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Anything.
That's going to be awesome.
Ruins my surprises.
That's funny. So, yeah, speaking of that, Joey, I've been each week I've been kind of touting the fact that we're coming back with Truth About Beer.
Woo woo.
So
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be freaking awesome. It's gonna be really cool. And then I also
what have we learned?
What?
From the last time. Please hit record.
she still
that happened one time.
Oh, it only took once.
It turned out to be a great episode doing it the second time.
Which was even better.
Probably one of our best episodes, honestly.
It was so good.
It was a lot of fun. But I know, Joey, I think you're going to be involved in this too. So we're getting ready in 2 weeks. We're going to kick off our Drunktober.
Yes.
So we got some good episodes lined up. So we got our.
He's going to have to be here the 3rd.
He is. He's going to be here.
Okay, good.
I'll be here the 1st. So
well, here. He's going to have to be.
I'll have a day and a half to recover, kind of.
On the 3rd.
So on the 3rd, we're doing our pumpkin beer challenge. On the 10th, we're going to talk about abandoned theme parks.
I'm excited about that one.
On the 17th, we haven't decided yet because that's the week of my party. So
we're definitely not doing something live.
I don't know. We may figure something out. That's to be decided.
Or we just have everybody jump on that's here.
Right. And then on the 24th, we're going to do scary moving costumes. And on the 31st, we're going to do our live Halloween show.
So excited.
Right from here. So exciting.
You do it from your front yard?
Yes.
From the front yard.
Yep.
Awesome.
Catch all the trick-or-treaters coming through, you know.
I hope there is trick-or-treaters since it's a Thursday.
There will be.
Yeah.
I feel off because I haven't decorated yet.
Wow, you're late.
I know.
She is late.
He told me not to do it the very first week. He said, you can't do it the very first week of September. And I said, yeah, you can.
Well, our HOA doesn't like it.
They don't bother me anymore with that.
I know.
I just pay the fine. It doesn't really bother me at all. It only costs me $100 if I do it. Then we have to
I only got harassed by the HOA once. And that was my first Christmas when we lived in Gilbert. I had Christmas lights. I got all the big Christmas stuff down, but I left the ones on the house up, the icicle type lights, which I was going to grab the next weekend. But 1st of February rolled around and they were right on me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
I've been like, then you get up on the ladder and take them down.
Yeah. I mean, I had to buy a special ladder when we got that house.
I know, that's why we don't do the second story.
I remember that. Yeah, that ladder. Spirit Halloween is open.
See, I know. Technically, they were open in August, but he won't let me start in August.
Well,
That
heck, I mean, Home Depot and Lowe's start putting out Halloween stuff
It's August.
right after. I swore it was right after the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, and yesterday was September 11th.
Yep.
Was it 23 years ago, right? Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
That is insane.
I can't be that old.
I want to do an episode when you come back, Joey, though, definitely on my experiences with going to the memorial and stuff. And I know you have a friend who had some experiences too. So we definitely have to do an episode on that for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I would like doing that.
Yeah. But tonight we're talking about something that I know is kind of near and dear to you, right? I mean,
Well, it's something that just piqued my interest when I first had it brought to my attention, which
Right.
I don't even remember how that happened, but I know it happened before we did our first shows. Because I think on our second episode where we had Jack and Julie on with us, that for some reason I brought it up.
I don't know anything about it, so you're going to have to tell me about it.
Well, what do you want to know?
What is it?
So you want the little background that I did on it, and then we can compare notes and see if it's the same.
Well, sure.
Like, because I was curious about it too, so I did some research on it, and it says that the stone tape theory is a pseudoscientific claim that ghosts and hauntings occur when historical information is released from rocks and other items. The idea that environmental elements are capable of storing traces of human thoughts and emotions was introduced by multiple 19th century scholars and philosophers as an attempt to provide natural explanations for supernatural phenomena. So, in the one guy who they credit with it, his name is Charles Babbage. Speculated that spoken words leave permanent impressions in the air, even though they become inaudible after time. He suggested that it's possible due to the transfer of motion between particles. And I think that's something we talked about a long time ago, right? We talked about speech, just
being energy, and energy doesn't. Because it's got movement, so it's energy. I mean, if we're putting out sound waves that go into the air, then that would be energy that would carry on. And I know what he said is it does dissipate, with time. So that was the Charles Babbage and Eleanor Sedgwick, I think, kind of did that one together. And in 1972 is there was a Christmas ghost story called The Stone Tape, and it was produced by the BBC. And so that's kind of where stone tape theory really got its name, was through that. And so, but the one that I found that kind of ran with it, because Babbage and Sedgwick, they were more into the staying in the atmosphere, the air,
right.
Which also, what they call that, actually even being in the ether.
Oh, that's cool.
That was kind of a term they used a lot back in the old days.
Right.
But it was Thomas Charles Lethbridge that kind of really started to run with the idea that these things could be, that these energies could be transferred into rock and into surroundings, any place where there was, any big dramatic or traumatic or whatever high energy event, that the walls and surrounding things could absorb that energy and record it. And now, give you a little history on it. So the idea that environmental elements are capable of storing traces of human thoughts or emotions was introduced by multiple 19th century scholars and philosophers as an attempt to provide natural explanations for supernatural phenomena. And so this is where those two come in. So that was in 1837.
Okay.
Yeah, 1837. I didn't realize it was that old, but that's where Charles Babbage published his work on natural theology called Ninth Bridgewater Treatise. And I don't need to go back over that, but that's where he says these impressions stay in the air until they become inaudible after time, since the waves just kind of slowly go in a straight line. But stone tape theory was also derived from the concept of place memory.
Right.
So in the early days of, and I have a hard time with this word, but it's Society for Psychical. That's how it looks to me. Psychical research.
Like cyclical?
The Society of it's psych, and then ICAL research.
Yeah, it's psychical. That's how
psychical.
Psychical, yeah.
So we'll just say SPR for that.
There you go.
For that team of researchers.
Those good.
So they use that to explain ghostly apparitions that seemingly were connected to certain places,
right?
And that it took certain. I should read that so I say it right. I got ahead of myself.
I do that all the time.
It happens.
Oh, it's nothing really big, but it so those events could be recorded, and the playback could be produced by gifted individuals.
Okay.
So their energy sparks it off. Kind of
and I'll buy that. I mean, there are those that are a lot more sensitive that can pick up on things that go right over the rest of our heads.
Right.
So another 19th century idea associated with stone tape theory is psychometry. I don't know where they come up with these. Psychometry? Maybe that's what it is. That's what I bet it's psychometry.
Psychometry.
A belief that it is possible to obtain knowledge about history associated with object through physical contact with it. So there are those psychics that claim to do that.
Right.
Pick up things and
touch it and
read
see
its energy and can say a lot about it. So in the 20th century, the idea that objects are able to store and play back past events was introduced in 1939 and 1940 by the SPR.
Yeah.
those guys too.
See, I'm anxious to get back to Arizona. For any of those that know, they know. SRP, right? So that was the president of that organization at the time was H.H. Price, and Price speculated that, and this is where he brought up, he called it psychic ether.
Okay.
As an intermediate medium between spiritual and physical reality, which can enable objects to carry memory traces of emotions or experiences from the past. In his works, he stated that the existence of such traces should be provable by means of scientific methods, and that they yet remain unproven at this time. So that was 39. So it's still just a good theory. Thank you, Jeff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still just a newer idea, essentially. Because it hasn't been around, 200 years? So that's not...
Yeah, and the reason I got interested in it, or why it hit, was just because I was going through, the school, the recording art school, and knowing that, when you go in, you record your vocals or whatnot. Well, now it's all digital, so I can't explain that. It's all ones and zeros.
Yeah.
But back in the day when they're using using tape and stuff, was being transferred to tape. So it was the energy from your voice going through the microphone and
being held,
vibrating, all that just would be written into the magnetic tape.
Oh, that's cool.
And you could replay it. So my mind went to, well, this is all the elements of the earth are broken down to
elements,
atoms, right? Pretty much. And so it makes sense that, if you have enough energy in one spot, that it's possible that those elements come together to record that.
Yeah.
And how does it get replayed?
And things are going to stick to that too, because we look at so many things. How many times have we gone investigating and you talk to people and, somebody's having something going on in their house? Okay, what are the first things we ask? Is there anything new you brought in?
Yeah.
So something is attached to that. Somehow energy, whether it's reoccurring, whether it's something smart, something is attached to that. So somehow that element is holding that energy.
Yeah. So Seth says, I can maybe get what traces of feelings, emotions in a place where something really heavy happened, but entire recreations of old events is, So
yeah,
I get what he's saying there, but
I get that.
Also you think about too, trigger objects, right? Mm-hmm. So, the object itself may not hold that memory, but that could be what triggers the replay of that recording, right? If like we use, like Vinny always says, like cigarettes or like an
whiskey,
old tool. Right. Yeah. I mean, that could be used as a catalyst to
rile up other things.
Right.
I get that. But look at what's the hotel that The Shining was made at.
The
Stanley.
Stanley. Yep.
All on limestone, right? That's one of the big things up there. Is it's literally on the side of a limestone mountain. So how much is held in that?
Yeah, they say limestone is a big conductor.
Yeah. Which,
so
I mean, is it because it's porous maybe?
Yeah, that's where my brain would go.
Like it's
I'm a simpleton, thinking about
like a marble, right? So there's more pores for stuff to hide in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it a physical thing, or like you said, it's literally an energy thing? Because you think everything has atoms, right? Everything has atoms bouncing around. Rock
Let's not
does,
get there.
But that's the idea. It's not so much that something's going to seep into the rock. It's the energy that gets transferred.
But is it
to that
easier to hold because they're different atoms? They're different makeup. I don't know.
Now you're getting very scientific.
I like the porous idea. Though.
I can go down.
Yeah.
That's what limestone is. But yeah, I think it's just a place for the energy, because it's not going to. Energy can't die, I guess. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So, if you find something to store, it's just like a battery.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy out there.
And that battery holds its juice until you hit the on button on whatever it's powering, and then
go.
Expels its juice.
Yeah. So Bias the Book says, some scientists say that every word uttered by mankind since the beginning of time was captured and is stored in airwaves.
Like Joey said, I mean, you recorded onto tape, and look at the tapes we have downstairs. It's going to be there forever until it's deleted. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Where does that go?
Where's it going to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quartz crystals, literal vibrations.
That's something with the molecules. I've heard that.
Like a crystal radio. Interesting.
Like the molecules in quartz don't, like they're super fast, or the way they react or something.
Yeah. Crystals are really fascinating. My late son-in-law collected all kinds of crystals and precious
stones
and all those kind of rocks.
Yeah.
And
I've heard
his energy is still very strong in that house.
Yeah.
Because he held those, and he was fascinated with them. So his energy was
already
on
attached.
those.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And you look at when you talk with mediums and psychics, they all play with crystals, right? They all mess around with crystals, so there's got to be something to that.
I mean, I have a crystal from New Mexico.
We won't talk about that one.
Was it special?
He's purple. I don't know where he is.
I don't either.
And it's definitely
Thank
a
God.
he.
So I've got a whole bunch of crystals lined up along the edge in front of my TV here.
There you go. Well, then we have that salt. What's that salt we got from you?
Yeah, the salt.
The salt lamp.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Himalayan pink salt lamp,
There you
right?
go. That's why the dogs lick it all the time. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, when you shine the light through it, it's supposed to release some energy, good
And it's pretty.
cleansing energy. Yeah. So I sent you the one picture with the energy showing the and I just
That one?
sent, yeah. So that's thanks to AI. You know, it can only give you what you tell it to create. So this I was telling it to create the energy being transferred from a traumatic event into the walls and all that. So
Okay.
I don't know why these people are running towards it.
Yeah, that doesn't. They should be running away.
Yeah, I think they should be running away, but yeah, that's just to demonstrate
I like that.
energy going somewhere.
That was interesting.
We got to take Joey because Joey hasn't gone to Superstition Museum, right?
I've been to the museum.
Yeah, he's been in the museum.
Was he there after we went with the plane
I
stuff?
think
We
so.
did when we did the thing with Vinny where we took the tours. With,
Okay.
we
'Cause
split up.
That area with all the plane stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that's got some energy for sure.
Yeah. No, I remember that night. We were there that night, but we were in two different groups because Lisa and I took one group, and I think you and Keith took another group.
I couldn't remember. I was like, I thought you were there, but I couldn't remember.
That is a very interesting place.
Place is cool.
Anxious to get back there.
Yes.
I think just Superstition Mountain in general, right, is a unique place. I mean,
it's a vortex of some sort.
I would love
Truly.
to go wandering, but I don't.
but you want to come home.
Right. Yeah. Every once in a while when I fly out of town, I fly right over it. And it's amazing.
It's
It really
huge.
is. And I am going to say, you remember the night we were looking up on the
those
one
lights.
mountain and the lights were moving around?
Yeah.
I flew over that exact part Monday when I flew out of here. I'm telling you, there is no way
Somebody was up there.
somebody is up on that cliff. Unless they're got ropes and they're tied off, I don't see how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's twice we've seen stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
So we were doing that private investigation,
Yep.
and we kept seeing, but that was just a single light that was darting in and out of the mountain, but it was coming away from the mountain. It wasn't like trying to climb down the mountain. But then that was at the Superstition Mountain Museum or Park, where you were talking.
Yeah.
That we saw those lights kind of,
For like
and they
an
were
hour.
dropping quick though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like somebody, unless they were falling down the mountain
Well, then you just
and
stop.
keeping the light,
You didn't go
up in the air.
stop halfway.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was cool though.
So I think that was that Iron Pan? Is that what that peak is called?
I don't know. I don't know what the peak
something.
is. Yeah, I don't know.
Something wild like that.
No, look at Seth's bottom.
This one?
One more. Yep. Sedona has some interesting stuff. I think they exploit it as it's a tourist trap. That's fine. But there is a lot of interesting things up there.
That's interesting too. Atomic memory. The theory we hold literal ancestral memory in our DNA or atoms explains
Instinctual behavior.
behavior.
That makes sense. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that kind of brings up sort of what I wanted to bring up next. And I haven't seen them in writing putting the two together, but it was like a light switch went off in my brain when I was started thinking about it. And that's quantum physics with time not being linear, that it's non-linear, that it pretty much wraps around itself. So if we have those, what Seth said, the ancestral memory built into our DNA, if time does wrap around itself, then we are much closer. Well, bring up that picture. So let's say the middle of that spiral was just the 1800s, and the big clock on the outside is today.
Right.
So we're really further away from things that happened 2 years ago than we are from things that happened 100 years ago. And so, if we're in the right, if we have that ancestral memory built into our DNA, so when it gets triggered, it's probably because we're in that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's getting us closer to those ancestral happenings, whatever.
That's kind of trippy to think about it that way, though.
Well, or you think about like even generations. So where are you supposed to be in your 30s? Where are you supposed to be in your 40s? Where are you supposed to be in your 50s? Where were your parents? Like, are you connected that way through them? Or are you connected through like your grandparents, that generation before? Like how is that?
Well, I'm this is more on an energy level is where I'm going with it. So
right.
It's constantly in motion. But the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Yeah.
So, instead of following that spiral all the way down,
you're going straight across.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about physics or that kind of science, but
you're right, though. If we're the clock on the outside currently, the straight line to the center is a shorter distance than
all the way
say
around
to the back of that spiral. So,
or even look at the line the circle right in front of it, or the circle right in front of that. That's 2 hops away, as opposed to you go 2 hops to the right or left.
Yes, that's still
you're nowhere. Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that picture, Joey. Is that another AI one?
That was AI. Yeah, that one kind of did it.
At least humans aren't running towards the disaster.
Yeah, they're weird. So if anybody has any ideas on that or kind of expand on it or poo-poo tell me I'm nuts.
That's interesting, Seth. We can have all our ancestors living all at once. That's
the energies.
Yeah.
If they're not.
But if you're following that DNA thing, how much is carried into you with each one? Is it like you take a glass and you fill it with red water and you dump 1 cup in, it's a little lighter. You dump 2 cups in, it's a little lighter. So are you carrying 3 or 4 generations with you, and then one drops off and you get the new one? Like,
no, I think it's like, it's all recorded in us. We're one big hard drive. Let's say that, so that whole part of our DNA is in there, but if we're bending that time to get to certain points. So it depends on where we are in a cycle of where we connect with those past things.
Well, just like they say, history repeats itself. Look at bell bottoms. We've seen that come around a couple times.
Those are awesome, man.
I mean, it makes sense. We're all same. We're all the same DNA. We're circling through that circle. So is that you can really go down a rabbit hole here and start talking about past life regression, right? So you talk about child prodigies, you talk about stuff like that. Do that.
But seriously, does that play into that? Does that play into that same theory?
We should do that.
I think it could. I want to bring something up here. Let's see.
We should do it.
Keeps bringing up my stone tape theory. Nonlinear time.
Joey, would you do it if I could find somebody?
What, past life regression?
Oh, somebody that would do it?
Yeah, if I found somebody who was like past life, I guess.
Oh,
Regressor?
that would be cool.
Is that their job? I don't know.
Yeah, what was that? There was a show that was on that. I don't know if it lasted very long, but they did take people into their past lives. So it was a hypnotist or whatever that, would take people and put them under and
I think I know the one you're talking
and
about.
kind of talk their way back through their lives and find that they had some of the people. And I went into reincarnation too, because well, that's the past lives. I mean, they found some that would have 3 and 4 different
stories,
different lives, that they'd pull out of them. What was that called? See,
Christine's in. I gotta find somebody. I can just.
We got lots to talk about when we all get together.
All I can say is if we do that, and I have to be hypnotized, somebody better be in the room, because if this hypnotist tells me to cluck like a chicken every time the doorbell rings, I'm gonna be mad. So I need a witness, and no suggestions from that witness.
Well, and that's hard too, because not everybody can be hypnotized.
I don't know. I've never done it. I have no idea.
Yeah,
we got to find out. I'm gonna find somebody. Christine, that's our job.
Find that person.
Somebody.
That would be interesting though, because you see it all the time. You see child prodigies all the time. These kids that
just
are playing,
sit in front of a piano at 3, and you're you're 3, you can't even not have a diaper on.
Yeah, exactly. So if Joey's theory is correct, it would be possible to travel back in time, but probably not to the future.
But probably not to the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you're going back to wherever you were then. But how do you be double? Yeah. Haven't we seen this Back in Time? Back in the Future? What's the movie?
Back to the Future.
There you go.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah.
No.
I read this, and I'm trying to see if it makes any sense for what we're talking about. But because this has to do, it says, at the heart of the nonlinear time theory is the assertion that time does not flow in a straight line, but rather exists in a more complex, perhaps I would say cyclical. Cyclical. That's what it says. I've never heard that word. Cyclical manner. Okay, this perspective suggests that past events are not relegated to a distant history, but are instead closely interwoven with the present and future. Imagine time as a spiral. See, that's where my AI came, so had it created from this. So a spiral of a circular loop where different points can intersect, allowing for a more dynamic interplay between moments.
And I just put your picture back up because you're reading that. So
this idea can find. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I think that absolutely ties into what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this idea can find echoes in various philosophical traditions. For instance, in Eastern philosophies, such as Buddhism, time is often viewed as cyclical. I think that's how it's pronounced, emphasizing the repetitive nature of existence through concepts like, these are just nasty words.
Now they're just being fancy.
Concepts like samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This cyclical understanding of time contrasts sharply with the linear progression dominant in Western thought, which tends to emphasize a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
So that's Eastern philosophy kind of.
Well, and then you have
ties it together that way. So
there is, I don't know if it's India or somebody that believes it's like a reincarnation circle thing. So you don't get to go to heaven until you figure out what you're here for. So you could be reborn 5 or 6 times.
Until you get it right.
One before, but not learning your lesson.
And we talked about that too. I think when we did our reincarnation show, we talked about that.
Yeah.
You just
Your
can't
dad did that show with us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fascinating one.
You just kind of come back around.
Yeah.
You're like, hold my beer. I'll be back.
Excuse me while I read.
Joey's like, hold please.
Well, the other
This just makes me feel smart when I read this stuff, 'Cause quantum mechanics further complicates our understanding of time. The behavior of particles at the quantum level suggests that events may not occur in a strictly linear fashion.
Mhm.
The concept of superposition, I think so, where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, hints at a reality where past and future events could be interconnected in ways that defy linear chronology. Chronology? Yep, that's it.
I
If
can't.
not, it is
I
for
can't
now.
see it.
I don't know.
I have problems when there's words that have too many syllables.
Well, and it's not like English language is easy, so we add different stuff in for different stuff. What's the guy who smashes the watermelons?
Gallagher.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So he did this thing, and I know you guys have seen it because it's from a million years ago. And he goes through the words, and he literally changes one letter,
And it changes the whole
and
word.
it changes the whole word. And he was like, "This would be this." No, and it's not really. It's this. And like, oh my god, I'm like, why would we make it easy? Why?
Yeah, I
Why
remember
would
that.
we? It's hilarious.
He was a smart dude.
He was a smart dude.
I mean, his inventions were crazy, even though, I mean, the Sludge-O-Matic, was
Awesome.
Classic.
awesome, but then he had all those weird contraptions that he'd come out with.
It's a good show when they're handing out raincoats to the front seat, right? It's a good show.
I mean, people stand on the bridge at Disneyland to get soaked by the water. You just choose your seat.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Yeah, and if you go to
Make your
SeaWorld, you want to sit on the front row of Shamu,
Right.
You made your choice.
Yeah,
So that's
get
okay.
splashed.
So do you think that a lot of these hauntings that we see are essentially this stone tape theory?
And that's the question to ask when we're investigating. Is the evidence we gather from
A recording?
yeah. I mean, is it? What's the word I'm looking for? The
Intelligent?
idea. But yeah, I mean, if it's an intelligent conversation you're having,
Yeah.
with something, then I would say no. It's not a recorded event.
Yeah.
That it's a
But if you see a shadow,
Residual. Is that the word you're looking for? Residual haunting?
yeah. I mean, those happen a lot, and I think probably the majority of evidence would be through residual stuff. That's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Or the one that you were talking about where like if you bring a whiskey or cigarettes or something and it riles it back up. So it's sort of like a residual, but not intelligent. It's just reacting to what's around it.
I would think that would be a level of intelligent communication, though. If you can trigger that energy just with a trigger item, that would be intelligent. Wouldn't you think? I mean, unless we're literally.
I don't know. That could be the button hitting or your finger hitting the replay.
Yeah. I mean, that could just be that energy that pushes it out. Because what's the static balls or whatever that put energy out and then you get stuff because you're electrifying that area.
A plasma ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plasma balls. Oh.
She said balls.
Plasma balls.
See, that Joey gets your humor because somebody else would just stare at you
I
like,
know.
what the hell did you
Me
just
and
say?
Joey are 12. It's great.
Well, I've been 13 for the past
Forever.
6 months. I finally started growing hair again.
Good job. Good job. How's it feel? It's weird, huh? You're like, oh.
It's nice. It's not as cold.
That's right. You're coming into winter. Now you're good. Now you're good.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm liking the beard.
It's
Feels
thick.
good. Oh, and I'm even letting the hair on top of my head
Oh,
Nice.
he's got the
Look at
grow
fuzz
back
on
too.
top.
But
Nice.
oh, I'm hiding now. It's kind of a cool look.
There you go. There you go.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, man. My eyebrows were almost gone, and it was pretty convenient,
Yeah.
taking a shower and I was done.
I know. You're like, I don't have to scrub really anything. We're good.
Yeah, it was good.
Not
And now I
have-
got to go back, and my eyebrows, I'm turning into an old man, so I have to trim them because I get these
the 12
crazy,
what? How-
wire brush things coming out of them. And my ears, have to shave my ears.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
goodness.
That's terrible.
I didn't have to do that for a while. It was good.
I know.
So
Welcome back to life.
Christine says, isn't residual energy like a constant loop in a tape that keeps playing over and over?
Ideally,
Yeah.
yes.
And that's where we figure out what it takes to trigger it,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in those cases it probably is a constant play, like a loop.
Yeah.
And then it takes a special person or a piece of equipment or
Even nothing. So my old house that I had, and I bought it from the guy who passed away. It was his wife who was selling it. And he would walk down the hallway every night at 10 o'clock. Every night, every single day. And my cat would watch him. And he'd walk literally from the bedrooms to the kitchen and then be gone. And every single day, you'd see the cat perk up and he'd watch him go by. And I'm like, okay. But then you have the ones that aren't necessarily every day. They're once a week, once a month, once a year. I mean, you kind of have to figure it out from there. So,
well, Dan, I'll share some of my hair.
Dad's got plenty on his face. You don't want that. He's got to shave all the time.
I was thinking of that. What was the place theory that you were talking about earlier? Place memory.
Oh, place memory.
So,
Mhm.
so theoretically, if place memory is a thing, then that constant playback potentially would not require anything to trigger it, right? It could be a place itself that's triggering it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
Well, like the guy in my house, it wasn't anything or anybody or whatever. I feel like that was just what happened.
You just had to be there to see it at that
Right.
certain time.
Yeah.
Because it was going to happen whether you were there or not.
Exactly. No matter what you had in the house, trigger objects, anything, that's just kind of what it was.
It's that if a tree falls in the forest question, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That energy is still out there.
So Seth says, but where does this recorded vibrational memory begin and end? And why?
Just like the voice
Well-
I was talking about, that it eventually stops, but wins eventually.
Yeah. Well, I guess the beginning would be the energy that produced it,
Right.
Where it
that put
started.
it in that spot.
But if you're going to get and go down that rabbit hole, has that energy ever really started because you were born? That's when your energy was started, but you came from somebody else. So is that just an extension of the same energy?
Yeah, but I think Seth's question is what starts this constant loop?
Oh,
And
okay.
I think it goes back to what Joey, you and I talked about a long time ago was when we, energy can be destroyed, right? So we talk
Mhm.
about when you die, that energy then gets transferred somewhere.
It's got to
right?
go somewhere. Yeah.
So that could be the start of it.
Mm.
And, as far as an end, it probably never ends.
It just keeps getting transferred.
Right.
That's why we can get spirits that lived way back, from the 1800s,
Hmm.
later, earlier than that, or people that died recently, and maybe that
Oh.
just never ends.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me think. So let's say when you capture an EVP,
Right.
something. Let's say the EVP is from a residual energy. So the energy itself isn't manifesting itself in what we can hear in, with our ears by themselves.
Right.
So it's taking another device that's got magnets and whatnot in it, and it picks up that energy, or it records it. So the energy is actually not being displaced or expelled from where it's, found its resting place, but it's still there, just like a battery, but it requires something to pull that through. Does that make sense? Am I coming?
No, that makes sense
No, I
because
know
you're
what
not
you're
essentially displacing that energy.
Yeah,
that
you're saying the energy, because
You're
if the
recording
energy left that space,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't replay in that same space. So if you capture that as an EVP on another device that it in itself is magnetic and has energy, the energy that picked it,
that gave
yeah,
it
that it recorded,
anything.
yeah, it didn't really have to do anything.
Huh.
So I guess the question then becomes, so if like we're speaking right now, right?
You lost
so
Joey. He's in his own circle. Remember that circle? He's in that circle right now.
I'm in the loop.
Here's something interesting though. So we're talking now, right? So our vibrations are going throughout the room.
They are.
When people die, let's say you die in a hospital, right? But people find your spirit back where you lived, or maybe a place you frequented. How do you explain that if your energy was there in the hospital when you died, right? So, but yet they'll find you back at your house, back at maybe your favorite bar that you hung out in. You see that all the time, right? So how do you do that?
So is that
good question? So go to Seth's question. Well,
yeah, and I think it ties into Seth's question, or what he said earlier.
So the guy actually did die in the house. So he was on hospice. He did pass away in the house. So did he just stay there? I don't know. I'm assuming he did.
Yeah, I think it could be, well, like a lot of theaters, have super haunted, and old actors, that's where they end up going. They didn't die there,
right?
That's just that's where their energies have directed them, even after death. So it's like, well, this is where I was the most happy, is in this place, or in this place doing what I love doing.
Right.
But so let's say that, going with your question and his put together. So let's say you loved being in the theater, but guess what? You die 60 years later and you haven't been in the theater forever, and you die across the country. Do you go back to that theater from 60 years ago across the country?
Well, see, that's the weird thing with that's going into string theory.
Yeah.
When you get into different dimensions, I mean, we move from this plane of life into whatever that next dimension is. I mean, what's time and distance in that world?
That's true. That's true.
Is it just you think about it and there you are?
Yeah.
Is it?
Hey, I want to be back in New York. Blink. Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah. So that's where your memory took you, and that's where you're at. So I don't know.
And what if time itself is dimensional? Right? We talk about the third dimension that we can't see.
Mm-hmm.
What if time itself is in that dimension? So it's not actually, if you cross over that dimension, you can be back
everywhere.
in time or forward in time, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, I think that's part of that string theory bit, or the nonlinear time,
right?
Is crossing over to those other earlier times. You have to cross dimensions to get to those.
Yeah.
So this is a nice
heavy subject.
Well, these are the answers that we try to get by investigating, right? These are the things we try to figure out.
No, not really.
No, you just do it
To have fun.
just to have fun.
It's a reason to drink.
It's a reason to drink.
That's a Tuesday. You don't really need investing in that. Are you going to be able to be here for the 3rd for our pumpkin testing?
Yes, he said he was going to be here.
Well, in the
How much have you been drinking?
I missed it. What happened?
He talked about that earlier. He said he was going to be here.
Be here
be
and
there.
here.
No, he
Are
said
Yeah, no, I'll be
Here.
in Mesa on the 1st,
Okay. I just want to make sure.
and you're only like a half-hour drive,
Oh, yay.
so of course I'll be there.
Joey's going to be over all the time. I'm so excited.
I get to take the 24 further than I've ever taken it before.
right. Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
not that exciting.
It isn't. No.
No, they have lights on it still.
It's kind of exciting, but you know.
Well, it's way better than not having it, but it has lights on it still.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember my little brother when he first moved out to, well, what'd they call it? It wasn't even Santan Valley when he moved out there. They still called it Queen Creek, and it wasn't really Queen Creek. Yeah. And the only way we could get out there was Hunt Highway or Rittenhouse to
Ironwood.
Gary.
Yep.
And that was lots of traffic.
That was it, because there was only 2 ways in.
Yeah.
Well, even just when we moved out here 4 years ago, there was 3 ways to get here.
Mhm.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous now.
It's
grown so
gross.
much.
You saw it, Joey, when you came out. It's gross.
Well, it's continually growing. It's crazy.
It is.
No.
You get
It's
a dog
progress.
problem.
Have a
It's
dog
definitely
problem.
progress. Definitely.
Dog problem.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to start doing some more investigating and do some
Yay.
other things.
I'm excited to have Joey back.
I'm excited to be back.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great.
Let me see if I can find a nice conclusion that I can read here.
Oh, there you go.
So since we were talking about the time thing, I got really excited about that, if you could tell.
I really do want to find somebody to do the past life regression thing. Would you guys really do it if I found somebody?
Yeah, if I can be hypnotized, I would do it. I don't know. No one's never tried to hypnotize me. So
There's Jack.
Jack, well, shit.
Where are you?
There he is. Yeah,
Miss you.
we did.
I know.
And looking forward to seeing you again, my buddy,
Yep.
my brother.
I'm going to
So
try to
here's a conclusion on the theory of, on time. So the theory that time is not linear, but rather wraps around itself, invites us to challenge our conventional understanding of existence. By embracing a non-linear perspective, we can explore the intricate connections between past, present, and future, recognizing that our experiences are not isolated events, but part of a larger tapestry of time. That would have been a great time or a great title.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was-
Tapestry of Time.
Glad you found it at the end. Good job.
Yeah. The shift in perception can lead to a deeper appreciation of the moments we encounter. As we begin to see that the past is not relegated to history, but is always present. Influencing our lives in profound and subtle ways, such an understanding could potentially transform how we live, relate to one another, and navigate the complexities of our existence. That was really deep, wasn't it?
That was really
I was
deep.
like, wow.
I was thinking, I'm trying to think of all the ways we could make that an episode.
It's like 8 episodes in
Yeah.
itself.
That is truly deep.
Like, start over again? What? I missed like 80% of it because I was stuck at the beginning.
Well, just embrace the idea that,
Yep.
just embrace it.
just embrace it. That's it.
Just embrace it.
Well, that's my
Try not to think about it. Just embrace it.
Yep, exactly.
So
I
what have we learned?
I believe in the stone gate theory. I really do. I think it's plausible.
In what aspect? Because we've gone down 50 holes.
No, I believe that these walls, rocks, whatever you call it,
Items.
can potentially record events.
Okay.
And they could be triggered and played back. I honestly believe that's the case.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I only introduced the time idea as a way of triggering it, because the distance between past and present are much closer than we think.
Now, Seth's going to get into religion here. You're going to get deep.
Seth already got deep with the beginning part of it.
He's got some funny shit that he says, though.
Seth's killing me right now. He's going to come with us in our past life regression. And Jack. Oh my God, I want Jack to do it. That might be terrifying.
So I'm not going to talk about it here, but Joey, I have an idea for a show.
Oh God.
When we get Truth About Beer up and running again. That I think Seth is going to like. It'll be interesting.
I'd be scared.
We've hit on it in the past, but yeah. It'll be yep.
We've hit on a few things in the past, so
yeah, it's just a few.
So it was only like 3 years of stuff.
That's funny. Joey and I were talking. It was last week or maybe the week before that, and he brought up the fact that every episode we ever did, we always said, "Hey, we should do a show on this, or we should do this."
Yeah,
we never do.
Never did it. No. Every show.
The next time,
really good.
Yeah.
They said anytime you watch any of our old shows, make sure you have a notebook with you. So you can write down what it is we said we were going to do, or the ideas that we came up with.
Yeah, we should make you do more. That'd be a whole 4 more seasons in itself.
The problem was a lot of our shows we consume quite a bit of alcohol. So,
that is true. That's what ideas come out.
We don't remember.
That's true too.
But we came up with some really good ideas.
That's where they ended.
Yeah, but we forgot about them. So
hey, but guess what? They're all recorded. You know that energy thing? It's out there.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube and Rumble now too. Right?
Yeah, right, Christine?
It's all there.
Nervous.
Yeah, you can't escape it now.
No, it's out there.
I'm just waiting for somebody to make an AI podcast out of us, right?
Don't give Joey ideas.
Like they did Joe Rogan.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, you could do a lot.
It's
very scary.
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very scary.
Unless the people really know you, and they know that that's not you. Jack was the Buddha. He could be. I want to get Jack. We got to do it.
All right.
Let us rub his belly.
No.
Oh, man.
You have to rub the Buddha's belly for good luck. Right?
For good luck, right?
No, I'm not rubbing Jack's belly. No, not doing it. Not doing it.
Well,
He'll just lay on his back and want you to scratch his belly. Kick his legs.
Well, that's Eddie. Eddie's cute. I rub his belly.
I think he was talking about Jack.
Oh, I was talking about Eddie. I'm not talking about Jack. If you scratch at Jack's belly, he might do that too.
Right? Exactly. Oh, man. You find somebody who will do it.
You guys are nuts.
I know.
Okay.
Well, Joey, I'm excited to get you back, man. I'm
excited to come back. Yeah. It's a little off tonight. I hope I'm not getting ill, but
I hope not either.
But it should be better before I move.
Yes.
You have
At least I don't have to job and all that stuff I have to worry about. So
right. That's a good thing.
That's right. That kind of
yeah.
sucks.
That'll be the nice thing. We go back to doing Tuesday nights for the Truth About Beer.
Yep.
I won't be so
tired.
Yeah, well, tired, and it was stressful to try to
get
off work and get to your place on time. I was worn out by the time I got there. I was ready to drink.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, that's funny. Well, don't forget, want to share this again with everybody that we are back doing Truth About Beer coming this fall. We haven't decided on a kickoff date yet, I don't think yet, but I think we got some possible crossover shows immediately going to happen.
Well,
So,
10-3.
Yep, 10-3. Yep. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And don't forget, we got Drunktober coming up with all our episodes in October. I'll go ahead and post this on our.
I'm so excited about
social media.
abandoned theme parks.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
That's going to be really good.
So
I'll have to watch that.
Can we talk about the abandoned theme park in here? Is it Hiroshima?
no, you're talking about Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah, Chernobyl.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Technically, it's
freaky one.
That is a
brand
freaky
new and
one.
never even got used.
that is creepy.
I want to go so bad. I wish I could get a suit that would take me more than like 15 minutes.
You'll come back glowing. You'll be radiant.
I'll be glowing in multiple ways.
I was just thinking about that movie or that miniseries they did.
Wasn't that great?
That was really good
Yeah, that was
on
fantastic.
Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
It was on HBO Max, wasn't it? I think it was on
I think
HBO.
so. I was gonna try to see if I could find it again.
It's good.
And
I don't think it was Netflix or
No, it was-
Hulu
it
or
was-
anything.
it was HBO.
Yeah.
That it was done on. Yeah.
Hmm.
We should. I've got Max. I think it should be on there.
Yeah.
Would hope.
I think that's.
If
I
it's
think it
still
was
there.
on Max. I think that's why I subscribed
Signed
to
up for
Max.
it.
Yeah, just to watch.
Probably.
No.
We do that a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you forget about it.
Oh.
You get irritated and cancel. Okay,
All right. Well, thank you, Joey.
I'm
It
excited.
was great seeing
Thank
you. guys.
you. It was great being on with you guys.
Yeah, this was a fun show. This was cool.
I didn't grab a drink before I came and sat down. And
Oh, well, you're in Fiji.
well.
They should be bringing you your drink.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Where is that girl?
Fire that waitress.
Where's your
Oh,
umbrella?
man.
Damn it. With your fruit, that's almost a salad. It's not even a drink anymore.
Right.
Yeah, the sun just stands still here too. It
No.
doesn't move.
It's
That's awesome. So it's never dark.
Wow.
fall.
I'm always in the shade under this tree.
I know, it's really good. Joey's making me really want to go.
I know, right?
Making me sad to be in Arizona where it's still 100 degrees outside.
Not next week.
Terrible.
It's going to go down.
I don't believe you.
Dropping. It is.
I don't believe you. It's terrible.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, everybody.